Okay, now that we know how to use each interrogative and how to tell the difference between the different whats and different wheres and all of that, now we can start to form sentences. We first learn how to form declarative sentences, which is the sentence just declaring something, stating a fact. For example, Elena come un sándwich sabroso. Elena is eating a tasty sandwich. In this sentence order, we had the subject, then the verb, the indefinite article, the noun, and then the adjective. In questions, however, the word order is going to change. And this is what the word order is going to look like. First, you have your upside down question mark, and that is important because when not only is it grammatically correct, but that is the way in Spanish that if you are reading a sentence, you know right at the beginning of the sentence that you are being asked a question. So we always have to have the upside down question mark. Then we start the sentence with an interrogative or question word. And now this is where the word order starts to change. In a declarative sentence, we had the subject and then the verb. But in interrogatives, we flip that around. We first have the verb and then the subject. So, come Elena. Here we had Elena come. So, come Elena, and then you add the rest of the sentence if there is anything left that you would like to add in the sentence. And then we end with a question mark. So the biggest thing is that you have to remember that the subject and the verb are switched in questions. Okay, there are 3 ways to verbally ask questions in Spanish. What I just taught you is how you write it. That is the formal way you ask questions. That is the first one here. Va Ana a la biblioteca. Notice we have verb subject. So this is the formal way that I just taught you. There are 2 other ways, however, that you can ask questions in Spanish, and this would really only be when it's verbal or when you're being informal with somebody. You can simply state a declarative statement, Ana va a la biblioteca, and your voice will be inflected up, and you put question marks, of course, on either side of the sentence. So then it would sound like, Ana va a la biblioteca, and that would be understood that you're asking a question, but again, that is informal. The third way would be just stating the statement and then adding verdad onto the end of it. So, Ana va a la biblioteca, verdad? Isn't that true? Anna's going to the library. So you can also ask the questions this way, and that would be acceptable. But again, remember, that's really when it's an informal situation and you're having a conversation verbally with somebody. Also, another important thing that you need to remember is that the word do in questions, when you are translating them, is assumed and not translated. So whenever you see that word do in a question that I ask you to translate or you need to translate, you are just going to skip this word. Okay? Now let's look at some examples. Okay, aquí tenemos algunos ejemplos. I have some examples here to help you. We're going to go over just 6 of them just to review what the word order is. And remember, if you need to see specific examples on a specific interrogative that's not here, you can rewind the video and look at that specific interrogative to give you an example of that one. Okay, number 1, ¿Qué come el gato ahora? What is the cat eating now? And I've underlined and color-coded the different parts of the sentence for you. We have the interrogative here, the verb, and then the subject. Okay, flipped around. And then the rest of the sentence, which is ahora, now. ¿Cuál es tu actividad? Now, we spoke about this a little earlier, that cuál as well as cuánto sometimes doesn't follow the specific word order exactly for interrogatives. So this is one of those cases. ¿Cuál es? This is the verb, this is the subject, and then the rest of the sentence. So it's kind of breaks that rule. What is your favorite activity is what that was asking. ¿Dónde están los gatos? Where are the cats? We have the interrogative, the verb, and the subject. ¿De dónde eres tú? Where are you from? Interrogative, verb, subject. Now in situations like this, we really wouldn't have to put the subject because tú eres tú. Tú is kind of in eres anyway because of the conjugation. This would really only be put there if you wanted or for clarification for who exactly you are talking to. ¿A dónde vamos nosotros el viernes? Where are we going on Friday? Again, this subject wouldn't absolutely be necessary, but for practice purposes, I would highly suggest that when you're first learning this, that you do put the subject every time, just for a little while, so that you can see where the subject goes. And the best practice is by doing it, so you can get that practice there. Y número 6, ¿por qué come twerp las bolsas de plástico? No, twerp. Twerpy. Twerpy, no. Twerp, no. Why does my cat, Twerp, that's her name, why does Twerp eat plastic bags? I don't know. Is a very good question. But we have the interrogative, the verb, and the subject, and then the rest of the sentence. Okay? And that is how you form interrogatives.
Ahora vamos a practicar los interrogativos. Once I reveal all 12 of these sentences, I would like you to pause the video and translate these to the best of your ability, making sure to use your notes and the interrogative formula that I have given you. Another thing I want you to do is that in the question, I want you to always include the subject, even if it is a pronoun that's really not necessary. I would like you to include it just so you can test yourself to see if you need to put a subject in the question, you know where it goes. Okay? Pause the video, and when we come back, we'll check your answers. Entonces ahora vamos a chequear las respuestas. Número 1 should have been, ¿con quién vas tú al cine? 2. ¿Qué comes tú en la cena? 3. ¿Cómo está ella? 4. ¿Quién es él? 5. ¿Dónde están los lápices? 6. ¿A dónde vamos nosotros el sábado? 7. ¿De dónde son ellos? 8. ¿Cuáles te gustan más? 9. ¿Por qué estudias tú español? 10. ¿Cuándo van ellos a la biblioteca? 11. ¿Cuántos libros necesitas tú? Y 12. ¿De quién es esta comida? And that's it. That's how you form interrogatives. If you have any additional questions or anything you're just not sure about, please make sure you bring your questions to class and we will discuss them further there. And thank you for watching this flip lesson. Hasta la próxima.
No.